Welcome to the Swing Trading with Cycles channel. We are going to cover precious metals today. It is November 28th. The market has closed. It's just after 4 o'clock. It's a Monday, and so we just have our first day of trading for the week. And so, a lot could happen from here. But we have a pretty interesting setup, to say the least. And I've tweeted about this quite a bit today already. So if you're not following on Twitter, definitely make sure you do that. Take a look at the link in the description. I tweeted about this like 10 a.m. this morning when the bearishness kind of started. Just like, hey, we are about to print the swing low or swing high, I should say, and that's exactly what we did. We were on pace for it, which is what I said, obviously. So starting with gold. So we have our top on day 8. We had this swing low on day 14. So that puts us at day 15, 16, day 17. And what is this? This, my friends, is a bearish outside candle. That is bad news bears, right? The candles that usually follow bearish outside candles are things like look like this, right? Like things that show that continue in the direction of the move. And that's because this is a false breakout on a lower time frame. That's what that is. I hope that makes sense. That's clear. If you zoomed into like the hourly, the 15-minute, at some point price moved up, got rejected, and that's what created this upper wick. And we usually get follow through. More importantly, because of the structure of this, and that's what I tweeted out, like that this is creating a lower high, you expect a lower low below this. And this is the same pattern that that indices are doing, like IWM, which is I mentioned in that video. I have a separate video on the broader markets, which you should definitely take a look at. And if you don't understand swing highs, definitely make sure that you take a look at that specific video where I cover that. But what this is doing is we're starting a downtrend. That's what a swing high does, right? So we did that, and then you expect us to do that, right? Now, we come up and make a lower high and then another lower low if the downtrend continues, right? That's the expectation. Or, that's what it would look like. But the way I like to think about it is one swing at a time. And so right now, I expect, and this is gold, this is the CFDs, so not the futures. You would expect a move below 1725, and that was your spike low after this bearish outside candle. And so and we'll look at GDX separately, but I'm actually out of my GDX calls as of earlier today when I tweeted that. And so we're going to see how this kind of develops. That's your daily, but more importantly, we have very clear levels on the weekly, right? So this candle here is that low, that forms that low at 725. So when we talk about having the whole, like potentially breaking that pivot on the daily, that would also break an important structure on the weekly. That said, we do have this pretty big, robust weekly candle from the week of November 7th. But that's not an auspicious start to the week. And if we look at the monthly, that's a big question is, where does this put us in the 8-year cycle? Now, what this does for next month is it guarantees we're going to open as an inside month, that December is going to open as an inside month. So something like that, like this hypothetical candle I'm drawing. We're going to have to look to the weekly and the daily for more signals there, because that's just going to, it's going to just be oscillating within the range, at least for a little bit. Let's look at silver. So silver, and I put this in my tweet, I'm thinking maybe we get DCL down here somewhere, right, in that neighborhood. Same pattern. This is a lower high, just not a good look.
Someone was upset with my car.
Right, so same pattern, not going to belabor the point. In the case of silver, this is pretty clearly a DCL decline after topping out on day 22, as I put in my tweet. And so this is really that kind of rally that needs to be preserved, which is a low at 1942. And in terms of that weekly level, we really would want to stay above, around that 2040 area. That preserves this kind of bull flag looking thing. The risk here is our high is on week 11, which means that really could be our ICH, and we could be moving into a weekly cycle low. So we could be in the declining phase of the weekly cycle. And on the monthly, we're going to have an inside month based on this wick. And finally, let's look at GDX. So, that's a big move down. So GDX, you expect we're going to break below here, so around 2678 at the sort of rate of this decline here. And on the weekly, yikes, We're like, and that would be a new weekly low. So that's important to try to, like, if we do have that breakdown, then we have a fast recovery. That would essentially become a false breakdown. So same thing with silver. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are at risk of the previous week becoming the ICH, and we might be in weekly cycle decline. And this is all happening right below the 200-week moving average, by the way, which is interesting. This would be a logical place for like the weekly cycle to have kind of topped. So that could be really interesting, actually. Important levels to watch for sure.